Hi and welcome back. In this vlog I'm going to be talking about shooting an African safari and what kit I took with me to do this. We went on safari a couple of years ago before COVID hit, and we chose to go to Madikwe River Lodge in South Africa. We picked Madikwe as a reserve to be in because it's malaria free. It just makes things a lot easier rather than trying to get the kids to take anti-malarial tablets for weeks. So with regards to the kit that I took out there with me, out in the bush it can be dry and dusty. It's not the best place to be changing lenses. So for this reason alone, if it's at all possible, take two camera bodies. You'll want to have one set up with a telephoto lens so you can zoom in on animals that are further away, and the other with a wide angle to capture not only the amazing vistas you'll see, but also the larger animals when they're fairly close to you. For lenses, you'll want a good telephoto lens with you to get in close to the wildlife. A lot of sightings are early morning or late evening, so a fast aperture is also good. I was using a Sigma 150 to 600C lens, which at the fully extended at 600mm focal length, it's got an aperture of f6.3, so it's not as fast as I would like, but it's what I had and it's manageable. You'll also want a fairly wide lens for the closer animals. I took a Canon 24 to 70mm f4, which gave me a good range. And which lens on which camera body? Well, there's pros and cons for each way. Putting the telephoto lens on the crop sensor body gives a much greater reach. But for me, my lens went up to 600mm anyway, so the greater reach wasn't such a big factor for me. If you only had, say, something that went up to 300mm lens, then you maybe would consider putting that on the crop sensor body. My full frame body is a Canon 6D Mark II, which is a much better capability in low light situations than the crop sensor, which is a Canon 1200D. So I wanted the full frame body to have the lens that I'd use the most in the low light, which I anticipated being the telephoto lens, and also I wanted to have the slower lens on there, which for me was the telephoto lens at f6.3 at 600mm. So therefore I went with the wide angle lens on the crop sensor and the telephoto lens on the full frame body. When we stopped for sundowners and the like, I did swap lenses when the dust settled so that I could use the better low light capabilities of the full frame body with the wide angle, try and get some of the sunsets. A sturdy tripod is great for when you park up for sundowners or morning coffee. And don't forget to use a timer on your camera to take some shots of yourselves in the bush. These are the memories that will last a lifetime. I also took a monopod with the belief that it would help in a vehicle, but in reality it didn't prove to be that useful. You'll have vibration from the vehicle engine coming through until the ignition is turned off, at which point you'll often get a bit of a vehicle shudder. And as the sightings are often very fleeting, by the time the engine's turned off, the moment's passed. I also found that the monopod was quite cumbersome when trying to change the viewpoint from one side of the vehicle to the other. So after one drive with the monopod, I switched to handheld, which offered me much more flexibility on the shooting direction, and also my body provided some dampening of the vehicle vibrations when it held everything nice and tight. Take a couple of SD cards with you to store the photos. Trust me, you're going to take a lot more shots than you anticipate, and you don't want to run out of storage space midway through the trip. If you have the space to take a small laptop, do, because that'll help with the storage of images, as you can download them every day, and even back them up to an external drive if you have one. That frees up the space on your SD cards for in your camera. Don't forget to pack your battery charger and a spare battery for your camera. Unless you're camping for a prolonged period away from somewhere with mains power, that should be sufficient to keep you charged up. As a general rule of thumb, I always charge my batteries when I return from out shooting. That way I've got a fully charged one in the camera, plus a fully charged spare ready with me when I go to head out. So I'll leave you now with some of the better shots that I took while I was out there. Do remember to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this. I've put the photos from this trip along with some words into a book, and I'll put a link to where you can get that book in the description down below. So thanks for watching and listening. I do hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe. It helps to keep the channel going.